black hair and your fat thighs. Street poetry is my everyday, but yo, I gotta stop when you drop my weight. If I was working at the club, you would not pay. Ayo, my man Fife Diggy, he got something to say.
I like him brown, yellow, Puerto Rican, or Haitian. Name is Fife Dog from the Zulu Nation. Told you in the jam that we could get down. Now let's knock the boots like the group H-Town. You got BBD all on your bedroom wall, but I'm above the rim and this is how I ball. A gritty little something on a New York street. This is how I represent over this here beat. Talking about you.
Yo, I took you out, but sex was on my mind for the whole damn route. My mind was in a frenzy in a horny state, but I couldn't drop dimes cause you couldn't relate.
Relax yourself and help reset.
You couldn't relate.
Relax yourself and help reset.
You couldn't relate.
Relax yourself and help reset. Relax yourself and help reset. Relax yourself and help reset. Relax yourself and help reset.
Stretch out your legs, let me make you ball. Drive you insane, drive you up the wall. Staring at your dome piece, very strong. Stronger than pride, stronger than Teflon. Take you on the Ave and you buy me links. Now I want a pound of until it stinks. You could be my mama and I'll be your boy.
Original rude boy, never am I coy. You could be a shorty in my ill convoy. Not to come across as a thug or a hood. But hun, you got the goods, like Madeline Wood. By the way, my name's Malik, the 5-foot freak. They say we get together by the end of the week. She simply said no, label me a. I said, how you figure? My friends tell me so. I hate when silly groupies wanna run their yacht. Word to God, hun, I don't get down like that.
I'll have you weak in the knees that you can hardly speak. Or we could do like Uncle Ella swinging up in my Jeep. Keep it on the down, yo, we keep it discreet. See, I'm not the type of kid to have my biz in the streets.
If my mom don't approve, then I'll just elope. Let me save the little man from inside the boat. Let me hit it from the back, girl, I won't catch a hernia. Off on your couch, now you got Siemens furniture.
Shy Heat Fife and the extra P. Stacy Beetle, PJ, and my man LG. They know the abstract is really so on ice. The character is of man, never ever a mice. Shorty, let me tell you about my only vice. It has to do with lots of loving, and it ain't nothing nice.
Relax yourself and help reset.
It ain't nothing nice.
Relax yourself and help reset.
It ain't nothing nice.
Relax yourself and help reset. 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 Relax yourself and help reset.
It is written in the stars. This enchanted lullaby.
Man, Fantasia. Gotta let a girl come between me and my man. That ain't even how it's supposed to be.
This enchanted
Friendship is forever. Relationships come and go.
This enchanted
Listen to the story I gotta tell you.
I remember seeing her in my dreams, stroking the spleen, trying to figure out exactly what this all means. God, it seems I'm trapped up in emotions and through all of the commotion, overdose on love potion. Her sexual motions got me hung, using her tongue got me sprung. Word is born, screaming her name from my lung. It started out as fun, I should've known better than to flow with her. Started out as friends, now I zone with her, chill at home with her. When she feeling alone, we talk for hours late at night and fall asleep on the phone. I make her moan when the side's steaming, caught up in passion. Me and Fantasia apart, I can't imagine or even fathom the thought of us getting caught. It's not every day you find someone who hit you in the heart. From the start, we should have called it quits. Just wouldn't work, cause in the process, I knew someone was going to get hurt with this. Just how it began, me and my man cruising in the land, getting me a girl was the plan. We cruised the city for potentials, pumping instrumentals. The girls was fine, but they lacked the credentials. I know I see more, we take a detour. Morgan State, you down to be more. Exit 3-4, or should I say 6-0? Moravia was the exit. Players, we stressed it. Gang couldn't wait to flex it, but hold up, we pulled up beside this black Beretta, but a lever, purpling like she got a little cheddar, but we knew better. With no delay in this game, the light about to change. Jackson for her number and name. Who would have ever thought? 1 week later, I call my man and he be telling me, son, I put a ring on her hand. Damn, my nigga was sprung. Cat got him by the tongue. That's when I knew our friendship was done. The last phone call that I got, Fantasia was crying, begging me to come to her spot. When I got there, she said that your man abused me. When I approached him, he said, how could you accuse me? Then he left, told her take a breath, then I started rubbing her. Fantasia kissed me. Seconds later, I was loving her. The secret love affair carried on for a year, but we both knew what's ending. This love was very near. I hear a door open up while I'm naked in bed. My man standing there, eyes wide, shaking his head. Got a gun in one hand and some weed in the other, asking me how could I sleep with his lover. I'm like his brother. I'm sitting there watching him put slugs in the clip, telling him to get a grip and don't end it like this. I'm steady begging him, trying to calm him down, but he won't. Cock the hammer back, put it down his throat. Blah.
Feel the funk, baby. That's right. This is called the basement. And my man CL's gonna kick it for you like this.
From the heights, not with Amorite. Simple, I can do this. Like Popeye the Brutus, I'm your host like a stewardess.
Yeah.
Fly with the neighborhood, hijacking fella. So prepare for landing and crash into a cellar.
That's right.
Bodies in the Buddha cloud, misty in the tune. Like a show on nights, a figure eight in the lagoon. With Pete Rock, the complete lock and beat stock. Now all the horny heifers wanna dangle on mine. Down by the dungeon with the cracks on the wall. Buffoon, I'm like a mink while you soon to pimp a raccoon stall. Vocal arrangement, ready, set to hit the pavement. But not before the kid leave the basement.
The basement with the funky ram. Here comes the man, my brother. Rap lover, get rank cousin.
Call me the grap lover, yes, the younger soul brother. Keep your eyes on the prize, cause you won't find another. When the funk is played, the rhyme I display. Quick to bust a dick, so don't slip in the way of the kid with the flavor. The party people savior, clocking all the honeys, eyes sharp like a razor. I kick a dance step, you're soon to discover. Yo, that's the kid from Mecca in the soul brother. Yeah, once in a while I'll be with TL on the DL, or I flow with Pete and find my placement in the basement. The basement, yes, where the beats and the rhyme flow. Peace, I gotta go. Grapsters out the door of the basement.
The basement. Next we got special guests. I ain't gonna tell you who it is. Come on, clap along.
Tick tock, tick, things are getting thick.
Yeah.
Here comes the hipster, and I know it makes you sick. To see a black man getting paid on the regular. Car will the cellular. Fellas, I'm telling you, I got plots and plans, pots and pans, stocks and grands. So make room for the big man. I walk the streets in peace, and I'm never strapped. But I know a crew of young guns that'll send you back.
Say what?
So easy does it on the DL. Peace to Pete Rock and the Mecca Don CL. Heavy D's on the stretch, let you know there's no repeat.
dolphin, so call me Don Shula. I rate a well like Art Shell, crazy defense. A pro bowl with soul for local events. The crew name is CL Smooth and Pete Rock. Here to sail when I prevail and steer into the dock. That's right. The pimp daddy of the funk flavor, catch you later. Clever like a secret agent coming from the basement. That's right. It's crazy funky. Oh my man. It's crazy funky. His name is Robo. Come on, baby.
Alakazam, you'll never guess what I am. Motto is that nothing ever changes, but haircuts and kicks to stacks of vocal bricks like these. When kids said beat makes beats in the basement, cold hit the pavement over to the chill side, the real side, the 7-7 hillside. I thought I'd just chill, take a breath, straight up Columbus Hill, make the left and get fixed. Plus the ghetto chicks got flicks of me, stacks of kicks, my joints bumping lovely. Walking down the street, much props on the scent. Yo, I hear voices say yeah, that's Robo Dindo in the basement.
This is funky. I can feel it. My man from the planet, his name is baby Paul. Fly like an eagle, a seagull. Always into something like Snoopy the Beagle. People grab a tight hold of yourself. Paw, snatching rob papes off the shelves. Blowing up spots from state to state. I'm coming to town, but you just can't wait. Check the station for conversation at 6 block. Uno here to put suckers in the mix. I get deeper than oceanography, thinking of crazy shit like psychology. So speak the peace, then slide like grease. The beat is fat, but the rhyme is obese. In the basement is where I dwell. Sucker MCs fell, 'cause I am crazy funky, CL Smooth, my man Rasan, Robo, DR baby Paul, the Hepster, my brother grandmother, everybody
In search for directions, my thoughts reflecting on who watches those cops ain't protecting. Globe full of government probe, mind dissecting, AIDS infecting freaks, streets infested worldwide. Home is where my head last rested. A traveling man, I seen it all, no question. Peep the situation first, then get my assessment. A lesson well learned, worth more than stock investments. Rock testaments, backed up by instruments intended for city kids in 12-story tenements. Stay forever bent, weed smoke is the evidence. Without it, aggression levels on a low tolerance. Hoes swallowing my semen, dream they pregnant. Little cats who fiend for televised segments. Johnny's a legend, so seize the half-stepping. I represent the garden, pray too like a rapper.
Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back to life, back to reality. Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back. Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back to life, back to reality. Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back.
Talk the talk, raising the most ancient of arc. Separate place to a sword, serenades in the yards. Place of resort is amazing, afford many ways we've been taught. In the caves of New York, DJs in the parks. Cross face with the smarts, portrays of the guards at times. My mind just parades with the sharks, investigating reports, bullets spraying in the dark. Grenades that embark, rainy days on the court when slaves like a sport for the stage or the sport. Empty the agony that weighs in my heart before my soul lays in the shades of the chalk. Blaze rip apart, fake flames that you walk. Praise your Lord and the names that you bought. Words display ricochets in my thoughts. We've been blazed from the start, bitch.
Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back to life, back to reality. Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back. Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back to life, back to reality. Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back.
How you gonna live listen when you always talking. Walking a different walk than the one that you barking. This land scorching, some men land in a coffin for they dough and the clothes they be sporting. Past the Gordons, get wet like it's pouring. Amazing, blazing like scores in Portland. Escorting, Scott got whores in Boston, forcing me to go long like I'm Johnny Morton.
Explosives in tune with mysterious forces. The Olympic mind games, who's carrying torches? I'm in a cell for ulterior motives, but focus, reciting my theories through roaches. Eyes fantasize through the weary emotions, hearing whispers of Moses, metamorphosis. Wrote this and Liberians noticed, even motherfucking encyclopedias quote this.
Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back to life, back to reality. Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back. Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back to life, back to reality. Take your time, don't rush the clock. Bring it back.
Big D, take your time.
Check it, Providence, take your time.
Chosen few, take your time.
Dungeon Masters, take your time.
Star Eye, take your time.
My man Sekou, take your time.
Yo, Afra, take your time.
Yo, my boy Curse, take your time.
Trifling, take your time.
KMC, take your time.
Yeah, Massive, take your time.
A specialist, take your time.
Yo, Phantom Black, take your time.
And Sleepwalker, take your time.
Yeah, Metaphysics, take your time.
Willie the Greek, take your time.
KKS, take your time.
Yo, Entertainment.
Course of collaboration, slice in your area, taking over. You know how it goes down. For all the other rap in the crew, exotic whips and hot chicks. To all my peeps, check it, yo. Then we taking it too. Bring them up, yo. Come on, yo. Crews get chewed like mics in hand. Who be that little man stressing? Rap secret weapon, MC slide to the left. Cause when I bust, I got you more open like they hitting back to dust. Slice holding it down with the Trey Pound hit. Plus baby tracks, murderous raps. Up north sound, way past local. Sipping butter vocal. Thugs run on how we rip. Then wow, get the shot slick. Past the absolute and grapefruit. Big to our troops that passed away wherever they be puffing loud all day. While I travel spot to spot. Checking rapid style, phrases and metaphors. And how they try to rock. And to me, most don't really be rocking. So I'm playing the cup. Keeping the chalk out sparking. Got the honeys wanting to knock the boot. Cause this rap shit got a nigga looking cute with a nice piece of loot. Living jig, I take it all, representative, running with ill kids. We did bits, now living lace cribs. So spin that dough on the mo, grab a hoe or two and check the show. Cause I be on it like a nympho. Keep yelling ho, still the show, some pros and info. You know how it goes, stack the dough. Keep yelling ho, still the show, some pros and info. You know how it goes, stack the dough. Keep yelling ho, still the show, some pros and info. You know how it goes, stack the dough. Keep yelling ho, still the show, some pros and info. Yo, hit him up, son. Come on, yo, check this. Split cheeks with the click, represent wild and heartless. Sparking it regardless. There's no other 5'8" pape smasher, 100 deep MC crasher. The style blaster, slice slip faster than most. Toes more wet with my murderers. A bunch of thugs in the streets that you never heard of. Locking spots. Any true with your timber. Cats looking stupid fruity to rock the party. I'm sorry that might not beat me. I'm hungry for dough. So when it's time to rhyme, I drop tight flows to let these cats know this is nothing. So all the huffing and puffing, only get your teeth punched in. The up north lyricists, party rockin' stylists. All my cats up in here be labeled dualists. So what the? Out to get a buck at this. Crush a few rappers in the path that can handle it. Don't have to live foul no more. We kicking doors off the hinges. Cause the raps and tracks got a nigga winning. And when I do my thing, yo, no dingo, check it, reckon it, until I can eat the rap info. Keep yelling ho, still the show, some pros and info. You know how it goes, stack the dough. Keep yelling ho, still the show, some pros and info. You know how it goes, stack the dough. Keep yelling ho, still the show, some pros and info. You know how it goes, stack the dough. Keep yelling ho, still the show, some pros and info. You know how it goes, stack the dough. Listen, hold your ear to the sound for the year. Slice the little man, sure to bring it raw, rugged and clear. One time, lead the rhyme, spark the brain cell done. Like I said, flows be dropping like a ton. Check the rugged instrumental, the bad MC. Me, the little man, SLICE.
Knock shots out the box, sure to rock the spot. Do it well, ring it bell, niggas styles be still. Bang the baddest, cruise with the status that I got locked blocks. The hard knocks, make your man's close shot. String up the amateur, watch me damage you quick, fast grab cash and gas with kiss. This on the ass, got you wondering who's that with the leather on the back, picking up the cheddar from dropping head cracks. It goes on and you don't quit. Slice coming through with the wild represent. Keep on yelling, hold out 9-7 to 2G. You know how well heartless, don't get me heartless. Still shake out, yo, up north sections, back. Keep on yelling, ho. We still show some pros and info. You know how it goes, stack the dough. Keep on yelling, ho. Still show some pros and info. You know how it goes, stack the dough.
Mi gente, que lo que, bienvenido a este nuevo episodio de Segundo Idioma. Mi nombre es Marino y quiero agradecerle como siempre, como todos los martes, gracias por su sintonía, gracias por el amor, gracias por los likes, los comentarios, las suscripciones al canal a través de Estamos Unidos. Quiero agradecerles como siempre, espero que tuvieron un buen fin de semana y ya ustedes saben, estoy aquí con mi hermanito Ale en los controles. Ya tú sabes, dando lo mejor de uno. Y nada, mi gente, ustedes saben que estamos aquí representando. Hoy les tenemos tremendo programón. Hoy venimos, ya ustedes saben, con la bacanería, con la merma, con la real cultura de Nueva York. ¿Tú me entiendes? Muchas cosas. Hay muchos que no entienden, muchos fanáticos de la programación que no son conocidos con el amor que la ciudad de Nueva York tiene con el baloncesto. ¿Tú es familiar con el baloncesto? ¿Tienes equipo favorito? Vale, dime.
A mí me gusta mucho los Brooklyns.
Los Nets de Brooklyn.
Sí,
pues
sí,
tú
sí.
sufres mucho.
Yo, sí. Sí. Pero ¿sabes por qué me hice...
¿Por qué te hiciste equipo fanático?
Fanático del equipo, porque en la pizzería... Cuando yo llegué a Nueva York, yo trabajé en una pizzería como pizzero, como que cocinaba las pizzas, y siempre en esa pizzería estaban poniendo los juegos.
Okay.
Y se daba la casualidad que cada vez que yo trabajaba, o estaban repitiendo un partido de Brooklyns, o estaban jugando.
En vivo.
En vivo. Entonces, como que me gustó esa dinámica de que van, vienen, esto, que el otro. Que como que es más rápida la dinámica en cuanto a juego.
Sí, a base que algo como el fútbol, que es un poquito diferente, o como el béisbol, que es un poquito más demorado. ¿Tú tienes un jugador favorito?
No. No.
¿No has encontrado uno todavía?
No. O sea, es que la verdad lo que me pasó a mí...
Ni siquiera el argentino, ni siquiera el Escola o
ver,
el Manu.
Tenés a Manu Ginóbini, pero creo que ya se retiró.
Sí, ya está retirado, sí.
No, yo lo único que sé es de Brooklyn, no me preguntes quiénes son.
Está bien,
porque
empezamos
yo solamente vi.
Empezamos con los ojos, no te preocupes. Que el guest que nosotros tenemos, él no tiene equipo favorito.
Ok, perfecto, entonces. No me siento solo, entonces.
El resto de la entrevista la vamos a conducir en inglés, porque como real neoyorquino latino, mi hermanito no sabe inglés, pero no, eso no quiere decir nada. No sabe español que diga, eso no quiere decir nada, lo queremos como quiera. So, for the rest of the interview, we are going to be conducting it in English. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for, locking in with us live. It's me, it's Marino. You already know it's your boy. Every Tuesday, Segundo Idioma, we in the building. Again, I said it in Spanish, but I like to say it in English too. I want to thank y'all for your likes, comments, subscriptions. We appreciate y'all time and energy. Time y'all can never get back, so we really, really appreciate what's going on. So today on tap, You know, we got my brother, known him almost, what, a decade? That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. I know my brother for a decade, man. You know, if y'all know him, y'all know him. Y'all know the type of person he is. He is founder of Hoop Showdown and Softball Showdown. And I wanted to add this because I didn't want to forget. He is the agent of chaos in a lot of people's lives, but we love him all the same. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Johnny Swoosh Rodriguez in the building. Let's give him a round of applause. Yeah. My bad. That's it. That's about as much Spanish as we gonna get. I tried to work on the intro music, but we still working on the licenses. You know, the budget is, yeah. I could have got you some Seth Rollins or something, man. What's good, bro? How you been?
I'm chilling, man. Thank you for inviting me on the show, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. My bad. Yo, A fixing my mic right now. My bad. But yeah, pause. Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy, man. But let's try to move forward from that. Let's try to grow from that situation. But yeah, man, good having you on the show. Welcome to the show. We get to do a life story. Have you done a life story episode on a podcast or anything like that?
I have.
Okay, so then you got more experience than me, man. But let's get them started. You know, introduce yourself to our fans. You know, and let them know where you from, where you rep. You know, where you grew up and shit like that. You know, let's give them a good origin story, man.
So, you know, like my boy Marino said, my name is Johnny. I'm from the South Bronx, Simpson Street to be exact. Pretty much lived on that.
Don't
street.
tell me. Tell the camera. Tell the family. Tell the family.
Yeah, so,
I know you. They don't know you.
Yeah,
I know you.
I'm from South Bronx, Simpson Street to be exact. Lived there pretty much my whole life until I moved out on my own. I went to high school in the South Bronx as well. I went to Alfred E. Smith right there on Cortland and 151.
Perfect. Shout out Cortland 151. Shout out Alfred E. Smith. Shout out Simpson Ave. Shout out the BX family.
Simpson
you already
Street.
know, man.
Yeah,
Simpson
yeah,
Street. My bad. You see, that's how I know. I'm from the
ruin
West. He's from the South. So it's a little bit different for us. You know what I mean? But yeah, bro, talk to us about what it was growing up in the Bronx and shit like that. Cause I'm from out there. So you know what I'm saying? But a lot of our audience, they're a lot of international people. They're a lot of people who come from different countries and different backgrounds, even different boroughs. So, just tell them what it was like, just kind of growing up in the Bronx.
I mean, it's kind of like what you hear, So we grew up on Simpson Street, bunch of Hispanics and blacks intertwined. You know, New York City is the melting pot, but I feel like New York City in general is the melting pot. Is what I wanted to say. I grew up there. My grandma was from Simpson Street, so she raised us. She used to play bingo in the park.
Okay.
And then that was kind of like me and my brother's time to be outside running around, whatever we were doing, whether it was playing pitching in, which is a sponge ball game in the park.
Absolutely.
Or we would play football or basketball. My brother wasn't really too much basketball, but I kind of played everything.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So yeah, we born and raised and pretty much grew up on Simpson Street. That's where I met most of my close friends that I'm still tight with.
That's cool,
to this day, man.
That's cool. It's always cool to see, friends that you've had, actual lifelong friends. Because people be like, yo, that's been my man's forever. And they don't really mean that. But these are people that you actually, grew up with. And you've seen, so many different, evolutions in your life. I always think that that's, cool as shit. How people just kind of grow and become, who they are. And, talk to us, a little bit. Obviously, you're a big basketball guy.
Right.
So, why don't we just jump straight away into it? What was it about basketball? What was the love or the appreciation that kind of grew within you for the sport that allowed you to kind of just have it be such a big part of your personality?
To be honest, it started like any other sports fan, playing in the hood, basketball was the most popular sport in the neighborhood.
For sure.
We used to play, right up the street by the train station, and I was kind of good, at least for my area, I was pretty good. I used to get picked.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to be picked
right
last.
Away, yeah,
you don't want to be picked last for the 3-on-3. Yeah, facts.
It was very rare that I had to wait next game.
Okay.
I think I really started taking it serious when we used to travel to the end of Simpson, 167 in Simpson. There was a basketball court on the corner. It's still there, actually, right under the train. And I used to get picked by the older guys.
Oh, man.
I doubt they're watching this, but shout out to Keywan.
Yeah, man. But
Juice.
we got to send them the link. Yeah, facts, man.
All those guys, they were all older than me. And I'm pretty sure they picked me because they needed one more. But then I showed them that, you know, I could really
Like,
hoop. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, I really could play.
You were more than the fifth
Right,
guy. Like,
right. So it will come times where, like, I'm playing with my age group, and then the older dudes pull up, and you know they're going to debo the court.
yeah, that's a
And
fact.
they'll be like, yo, Jay, you going to play? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I used to feel bad because I'm leaving my friends, but I'm like, nah, I'm trying to play
bro,
ball.
it's just like you
I
trying
ain't
to
about to sit on the side.
Exactly, and then
So,
like a big thing, you know, and a big thing with like New York City basketball coaches making sure your name ring bells.
Right.
Like people know who you is and all this other stuff. And it was always cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I sucked at basketball. So I was always the dude that was like, oh, we ain't got nobody else. All right, bring them on. You know what I mean? And it was just like, but like that, like before the travel ball era, you know what I mean? Like going from one neighborhood to the next, going up the block to go play on somebody else's basketball court was like a road game. Like you felt like the Bulls in Detroit or something in the 80s.
That's the hood travel ball, though.
Yeah.
If you think about it. So
Yeah,
we
for
used to
sure.
do the same. We used to go to Intervale, which is 150 Park. We used to go to Hunts Point and play in 75 Park. I forgot the name of the street, but it's like 4 or 5 streets from my crib. They had like a basketball court there. We would go there. So we pretty much was like a hood traveling team. We would pull up to other people's hoods, and it was all love. It wasn't like no smoke or anything.
Yeah.
We'll pull up. Play
It gets
ball.
competitive though.
I mean, it does. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. We don't got into arguments, but it's never got into fisticuffs. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We never fought. It wasn't like the movie Warriors where we had to fight our way back to the hood.
back
you know
to
what
the
I'm saying?
hood.
It
Yeah,
was always
facts.
love between hoods, and it's pretty much because we all grew up with each other. Maybe not on the same block, maybe not in the same building, but you see these people every day, and it's like.
Yeah, it's
Not
it's
family,
just like
but
your neighbor.
become familiar faces. You know
I mean,
you
they are
become the
family.
homie.
They
Yeah.
are family, you know, in a sense, because it's just like these are kind of like the people that you choose to be
Right,
around.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So in that instance, I guess you could say they're your basketball family.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that that's cool as shit. You know, that whole sense of community that you build, you know, with friends, and they allow you to kind of be your personality and be who you are. And I think that that's really amazing, man. And now we got to get into it, man. Your favorite basketball player. Please tell the world who your favorite basketball player
Actually,
is.
to rewind a little bit.
Oh, before you started. Yeah. Go ahead,
So
I'll let you rock.
The reason I fell in love with the game is because Allen Iverson.
AI? Oh, he
man.
was your GOAT?
AI was my
That's
GOAT.
cool,
and
man. That's cool.
To this day, it's
That's
LeBron
I
and
never
AI.
I never shook your hand for that GOAT, but I got to give you respect for that, man.
AI was definitely my GOAT. He's obviously on the shorter side compared to basketball players, and I wasn't as good of a scorer as him, but I was flashy.
Oh,
When I
okay.
played, and you know, like I could relate to AI in that sense, and
Kind of like that underdog mentality.
right, and that's who I looked up to. I used to wear the shooting sleeve. So before the shooting sleeves became an accessory that they sold,
I mean,
I will cut up my mom's, and I think she's watching this. She knows this. I will cut
Mama
up my
swoosh, my bad.
I will cut up my mom's stockings.
Okay.
And wear it on my sleeve like
No
a shooting
way.
sleeve. I swear to God. I swear to God,
For the
man.
love of the game,
and
bro.
because it was so new to the world, I guess, like the shooting sleeve.
I mean, it was never really like
I
it
used to
came
get in
around the
trouble-
same time as like Under Armour or something like that.
Before
Probably
that.
before that, right?
So I used to get in trouble in school because the principal thought it was gang related.
No way.
Yeah, so like I went to IS 116, which I think is a different name now, but there was a lot of gang activity in within the school and in the area.
Okay.
So anything that looked off or foreign to them was pretty much gang related. So you know, I was telling them like this is why I was wearing it, but who's gonna believe a kid when the principal already got his mind made up? So you know, eventually they caught on and knew that I wasn't wearing it for gang affiliation. It was like, I want to be Allen Iverson.
I mean, but it's just like it was just like there's always like throughout any sport, there's always like these players that kind of have like that aura, that gravitas to them, you know, like an Allen Iverson or like a Ken Griffey Jr. or like a Bo Jackson in earlier instances, Tom Brady or whoever it is. They always kind of have that aura. So it's you know, you hear people say like Allen Iverson's like my favorite player, but you actually live that.
Right. And even off the court, you know, like,
did you get braids?
No,
I
didn't.
That would have been
my mom was like, "All right,
final
slow down."
The final transformation.
I mean, even off the court, you know, I never, and to this day, I hate getting dressed up. Like, I mean, I'm trying to get better
hard,
at it,
bro.
but I'm more of a. I mean, as you can see, I'm more of a
for
white
sure.
tee basketball shorts kind of dude, no matter the setting.
Yeah.
And Allen Iverson was the same way. I mean, as you know, they got the dress code because of him, because he was pulling up in jeans.
He really
tees.
shifted the culture.
And I mean, obviously, I can't pull up a picture now, but I did my confirmation in a baggy Rockaway jeans, white Uptowns.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I went to prom in some baggy jeans, some Jordans. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to do none of that dressing up stuff, and needed the AI. So that's another level that I was like, yo, this is.
Yeah, and it's just
You know
like,
what I'm
and it's funny how, you know, you kind of see things on a surface level and you kind of appreciate things on a surface level. But then when you kind of start to peel back layers of like your favorite athlete, whoever you is, and you kind of like it's easier to ingratiate yourself when they kind of start to express the same opinions or share the same qualities that you do. So the fact that you kind of identified yourself with AI and you being kind of like that disruptor that you are by nature, like, and I mean it in a playful way, you know what I'm saying? Because with you, it's always like, it's always banter. It's never like anything like, you know, obviously, you know, you've been always that person who can kind of have that serious tone, but like for the most part, you know, you've always been able to kind of just be able to keep things light, you know, keep the situation light. Is that personality, is that something that like allowed you to kind of find a little bit more success in the basketball court or in the area that is basketball? Or
not on the basketball court itself, because when the game starts, you know what I mean? You gotta lock in and get shit done. But off the court for sure, just my personality, I feel like it's a breath of fresh air to folks, because most people are just like their own person, you know what I'm saying? And then some shit happens and everybody's sad, and I'm just like, all right, well, fuck it. And then everybody's like,
that's a fact.
Laughing, or I mean, you've been we're in the same chat. You know, some shit happens, and I'm just like, all right, well, fuck it.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, yo, you don't take shit serious, and I'm just like,
I mean,
the way I look at it is, man, we only here one time. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
At least we don't know. We don't know if we can come back. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna figure that out.
Not to get too deep, pause, but
save that for another episode.
But you know what I mean? We only got one life to live, man. I'm not trying to stress over something that I can't control, you know what I'm saying? Now, had I dropped this bottle of water, I'm gonna be tight, because I did it, you know what I'm saying? But if you knocked it over or whatever, the building shook and the shit fall over, what I'm gonna do, bro? What I'm gonna do?
And that's a good disposition to have, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, life is like that. Life is a lot about, you know, just shaking shit off and you kind of struggling, like you kind of like shrugging shit off. Now, to my understanding, or behind camera, off camera, I understand that you did play organized basketball.
I do.
Up to what level did you reach in organized basketball?
I played high school, obviously. I played JV first year, and then varsity the next 3 years. I intended to play at Hostos, but it just didn't work out schedule-wise.
Okay.
'Cause I was working immediately. But that's how far I went. I played Travel Boy AAU.
Okay.
With the PSA Cardinals. They had a different name before, Metro Hawks. That was their name.
I think I remember that Metro Hawks and like I remember, like, because the thing is if you're not really tapped into that basketball, like the realm that was like grassroots basketball, because it's so popular now. You go on YouTube and you see Carmelo's son, and you see LeBron's kids, and you see D Wade's kids, and you see all these other celebrities and these second and third generation basketball athletes, and I guess the accessibility has allowed us to see it, but like, just how like difficult was it for like athletes to kind of get, or younger players to kind of get that exposure in like travel ball?
Because it was hell, bro. It was hell. I remember I was talking to a few schools on a low level. I'm talking about like Division II, and they were like, "Hey, can you get us some tape?" And now it's just like, no problem.
Facts.
I'll text
Send
it to you
link,
from my phone. You know what I'm saying? But back then, you would have to talk to your coach. Your coach would have to talk to the athletic director. And that's even if they recorded games, because
crazy.
I mean, it's not like, I mean, I'm showing my age, but it's not like now where literally everyone has a camera phone out. You know, these games were physically recorded on VHS.
Yeah, it's just
so it was like pulling teeth. You know what I'm saying? And again, not every game was recorded, so they might have footage of one of your worst games, and that's just all you got. You know what I'm saying? It was hard. It was hard. It's definitely easier now, especially with communication with other coaches and programs and schools. For sure, man. For sure.
Thanks.
Gauchos was pretty much ahead of the game with their surveillance, and Millbank as well. I worked out at I used to go to camps at Gauchos and at Millbank, which is in Harlem. But I'm a loyal dude, so I always played with Metro Hawks, even if other programs were interested or wanted to give me a tryout. I kind of just stuck with Metro Hawks.
Yeah, and you know, there's always kind of like that loyalty is kind of like paid at first, because it's not paid at first, but I guess I'm trying to find the right way to phrase this, but you appreciated the fact that they took a chance on you, you know? Because obviously, you know, it's not a situation, you know, basketball is a sport where a lot of a lot of your success is based off of your size or your height or whatever the case may be. And for them to take an opportunity on someone like you, you may not be the tallest dude, but you definitely have you play with a lot of fire and you play with a lot of energy and emotion, and that's something that helps a team build and win. Obviously, as I alluded to before, you did have some adversity as far as your physical height or whatever the case may be. How did you allow yourself, or what kind of things did you do in order to kind of help you be as good as you could be on the court?
I was the energy guy. I'm kind of like Pat Bev.
Okay.
I'm better than Pat Bev.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was that guy. I was the guy to come in and I'm gonna guard the other team's best guard. I'm not gonna say best player because they had a center. Then I can't do shit with that.
Facts.
But I was always the guy to come in. I got this guy. You know what I mean? I got the best guy, and I'm talking shit to him because I know you're not gonna do nothing. And if you are, then it is what it is. We'll figure it out then. But for the most part, you just talk shit, and that's what I did. I mean, I still do that to this day.
That's a fact,
even
bro.
off the court. But
mental warfare.
That was my game. I'll come in, hustle, play defense. I was a really, really good passer.
Okay.
So I used to dime the shit out of my teammates.
That's fire.
But that's what kept me on the court. You know what I mean? I was pass first guard, play defense. I'm getting on the floor for the ball. You know what I mean? I'm elbowing you in your chest if I got to.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I only got into like maybe 2 fights my whole basketball career.
That's actually pretty good.
That's
considering
pretty good.
How emotional like NYC dudes are, New York City dudes are, and as emotional as the sport of basketball can be, with the highs and the lows, 2 fights is not bad.
Yeah, I mean most players know. Most players know that. You know what I mean? It ain't personal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I gotta win this game. I gotta stay on this floor. So I gotta do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Even yesterday I was at the Dykeman game.
Yeah.
And the 2 teams playing against each other, both players on each side are close friends. But you know what I mean? We gotta do what we gotta do. I gotta go get that ball. You know what I mean? I might have to elbow you in the chest, but it ain't personal, bro.
Yeah, that's a fact.
It ain't
that's
personal.
a fact. No, and I get it, man. It's kind of like that competitive fire, that people have within themselves, and that wanting to be great. You mentioned, how obviously, we've spoken from your youth, obviously now up to your high school years about like how much basketball played, such an important role. Now I kind of want to pull you out of your comfort zone a little bit, and I want to talk about, post playing, after you were done, because you say you got up to high school, you did some AAU stuff, and, for a while, obviously, was there a gap? Let me ask you this first. Was there a gap between you leaving high school and then the inception of Hoop Showdown?
No, I was playing. I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
So from when you actually finished playing to when you founded Hoop Showdown, was there like a gap where you weren't playing or you were like away from the game or explain a little bit about expand a little bit on that and kind of like the emotional part of having something that's so important to you not be as much of a focal point in your life.
So even after high school, I was still playing. I was playing in what they call the college division. You don't necessarily have to be in college to play. You just can't be in high school.
Okay.
And you can't be over 20, 24. I forgot the age, the max. But it was the college division. So I used to play in Watson, Hoops in the Sun, which is in Orchard Beach.
Yes.
I played in Dykeman for a season, actually for 2 years. And then where else did I play? I played in a bunch of college and then adult leagues, which is unlimited. Unlimited is the adult.
Okay, so just so the listeners are following along. So from the ages of 18 to 22, there was something called college division where you didn't necessarily have to pertain to a school, but you had to be within that age range in order to be eligible.
Right, exactly. Okay. So the most popular divisions are high school division, and that can be broken. Some break it into 14 and under, 16.
Yeah, because I've seen those like 14U, 16U, 19U type of stuff.
And then they also just have the high school division, which could be 18 and under. You could be 12. You could be 18. And then there's the collegiate division, which, again, I mentioned is post-high school, but you can't be a college graduate. You don't have to be in college, but you just have to be within that age.
Within that age
And then the
range.
unlimited range division is the adults. So that's post-college, 24 to 50 or whatever.
Whatever. If you're good enough to play.
Right, whatever. So, I was playing in the college divisions, and then I was playing in unlimited, and then... Actually, I was playing in this league in JCC on 72nd in Amsterdam, or 76 in Amsterdam.
Okay.
And I fractured my foot.
Wow.
Like
how was that, man?
Like badly, and I did it being a dickhead. Oh, I'm sorry, we could curse.
Nah, it's cool. Yeah, we could curse. We didn't say shit.
I did it being a dickhead because we was on the layup line and my teammate fucking being stupid took the ball from me. So I wanted to retaliate. So I ran behind him to block it, and I landed on his foot, and my shit just
like over. How did like how old? If you don't mind me asking, how old were you when that happened?
I don't remember. I had to be like maybe 22, 23.
How did it feel being away from the game? Like, because obviously you love basketball. You've been doing it since you were like, what, 5? And then you had to like, all right, let me ask you this. Was the time where you broke your foot, was that the longest period that you spent without playing basketball since you started?
Right. Football too, because I simultaneously played both.
And how did that feel?
It wasn't as bad as you think, because at that time I just started working and I was going to school. So it was like sports was a recreational thing now. I mean, it was always been recreational, but now it took a back burner. And I mean, I did miss it. Once it was gone. Like even today, like I watched like a clip, somebody playing, whether it's basketball or football, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm watching something and my mind is like, oh, I would have did this, or I would have went here. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely miss it now that I definitely can't play. But yeah, during that time, you know, I had fractured my foot, couldn't do anything, but just, you know, minimal stuff like going to work and going
like
home.
walking,
And it kind of accelerated what I've always wanted to do. You know, playing in Hoops in the Sun since I was a kid. Playing in Watson since I was a kid. I played in Dykeman later in my life. I always wanted that shit, man. Like that shit was just so
like
cool. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, just the aura behind it.
I remember playing in Hoops in the Sun and Joe Cruz, who's the commissioner. Shout out to Joe Cruz and his brother Randy, man. They've had that. Their dad has run that league they run it now, but that league has been around for. Anyway.
For our listeners who aren't necessarily familiar, can you just please explain to them a little bit about like the tournaments that happen in New York City, like Hoops in the Sun or Watson basketball, kind of in the summertime?
Yeah, so the summertime is pretty much the season for street basketball.
Okay.
So a lot of the more popular tournaments are the Watson Classic, which is in the Bronx. Hoops in the Sun is also in the Bronx. It's in Orchard Beach. Gersh Park, which is in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Lincoln Park is in Queens. Dykeman, of course.
West 4th too, right?
West 4th, yeah.
Obviously iconic.
So Dykeman, West 4th, those are also in Manhattan. I'm leaving somewhere now, and I'm going to be upset for leaving them out. Rucker Park.
Of course. Iconic.
The iconic, legendary
how does
Rucker
the non-basketball guy remember Rucker Park? You know, it's because I'm a Kobe fan. But that's a whole other conversation.
But yeah, man, it's like it's a huge deal in New York City. It's very important to the culture. And those are events, I should say tournaments.
Yes.
Those were tournaments that I was a part of growing up as a player. And then I've always like, damn, this shit looks so cool. I remember what I was getting to. I remember being a player in Hoops in the Sun.
Yeah.
And Tracy McGrady was there.
That's so crazy,
as
man.
a guest, you know what I'm saying? Jadakiss was there, you know what I'm saying?
Did that make you want to like
And now I see Jada and it's like, because I see him more often now.
Yeah.
That's not my man. He's just, we're under the same roof sometimes.
Yeah.
But seeing Jada as like a 15-year-old is like,
bro,
this is when like Knock Yourself Out and all that shit was out.
That's
you know
a fact.
So
we gonna
like,
make it, Jada?
whoa.
Superstar status.
So, you know, like I always like, damn, man, I would love to do some shit like this. So then,
bro.
Me getting hurt and not playing anymore kind of accelerated. And it was like,
okay,
all right, well, I still want to be involved in hoops. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I ended up sitting down with a pen and paper and creating Hoop Showdown.
That's fire, bro.
You know, the basketball community is a huge network, but it's a tight one. So I was able to, you know, formulate a plan. This is what I want to do. This is how I'm envisioning it. This is how much the expenses are. And then I just got on the phone, called some guys.
who were like some of the main contributors as far as like, you know, helping you get it off the ground from an organizational standpoint? Because obviously you have that experience of having played, and you did have the motivation to want to create your own basketball tournament and kind of create your own like culture and sense of community within something that you've done. But, you know, obviously we can't do anything alone. No man is an island. So, like, who were some of the people that were influential as far as, like, you getting it, you know, off the ground and kind of helping you navigate that basketball?
As far as influence, it was definitely Jose Morales. He is the, former owner of Apartment 78, legendary
Facts.
Apartment 78.
Shout out Apartment 78.
Yeah.
They changed the culture when it came to nightlife uptown. Grateful for Jose Morales. Huge event organizer. Hopefully one day we'll get to interview him here.
Yeah, and another influence was this gentleman named Cameron McCullough. He was the owner of Henny Palooza.
Okay.
So those two guys, when I was starting to lay the groundwork for Hoop Showdown, these guys were already, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Henny Palooza was lit. Apartment 78 was lit. Irvin Benitez, he's the gentleman that, along with his partner, started Brunch Bounce, Greatest Day Ever.
Okay.
And then my boy Lenny Rivera, he was part of the world famous crew. So a lot of
Shout out
these,
Lenny, man.
yeah. So a lot of these groups were already in their or on their way to their prime if they weren't in their prime already.
Yeah.
And these were guys that I can talk to and say, hey, listen, kind of want to do this, but you've been here before. Like, what do you think? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was amongst other people, that's
facts.
just who I can remember off the top of the head, but. Those were, gentlemen that I spoke to, and I said, yo, this is what I want to do. What you think? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember Jose, this shit sticks out in my mind forever. I remember Jose telling me, what you so afraid of? If it doesn't work out, then it's not the end of the world. You don't want to look 10 years from now and say, damn, I should have tried. Or I could have did this, I could have that. He said, if it don't work out, it don't work out. We're still going to be your homies. And that should just always, with anything in life, I apply that to. Like, even, you and I had a discussion recently about school.
Yeah, facts,
and I said, yo, I don't want another year to pass by.
Yeah.
And I haven't made any progress, you know what I'm saying? So just that mentality I've always kept in my mind. So shout out to Jose for putting that in my brain, and I've always lived with that.
Facts, and it's kind of cool to see the growth that people take and the beginning of it. So talk to me about like your first tournament. Talk to me like where were you like mentally, emotionally, like because obviously we got it off the ground. We got an idea. Talk to me about booking a venue and like some of the steps that it takes, because we may have people who want to organize sporting events or organize their own basketball tournament.
Right.
So explain to us kind of like the process, the A to Z as far as like getting a basketball tournament off the ground.
So you literally have to start from the bottom. So the first thing is you got to find a venue. So at the time there was a basketball gym in Mount Vernon called Hooperstown, which is now closed. I'm not sure what it is now, but I found the gym, and then I started thinking, okay, not everybody has cars. Is there public transportation nearby? So I found out that there was a train, maybe a few blocks away, but we can make it work. So I contacted Hooperstown. I told them, hey, listen, this is what I want to do. On this date, what do you have? And they gave me the rates because, nothing's free. Yeah, they gave me the rates. They told me these are the dates that are available. And if you want us to hold it, you got to leave a deposit. And, luckily, I was working and I was still living at home. So I had funds.
Yeah, you had a little something saved.
I had a little something. So I went, put the deposit down, and then it went from there. I had the time. I had the date. And now it was time to get the teams. So like I had mentioned a few minutes ago, the basketball world is huge, but it's a tight-knit community. So I just called a few heads that I used to hoop with or I met through the basketball world. And I was just like, yo, look, this is what I'm doing. Excuse me, this is what I'm doing. This is the date. This is what it's going to cost to enter the tournament. These are the perks of winning the tournament. And took it from there. Then after I got the teams, which it wasn't easy, but I started with 4 teams, and then eventually graduated to 8. But I started with 4 teams. One of our childhood friends, his name was Gerson. He was just getting into videography.
Okay.
So he was like, "Yo, like."
He's like, "Let me record, bro."
He was like, "Do you mind if I do the video recap?" And I was like, "Yo, listen, I don't have a budget." He's like, "Nah, it's all good. Like, we'll figure it out later."
He trying to get his weight up too.
Right. So and then my other friend, Raven Verona, she's a celebrity photographer.
Shout out to Ravy B, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So I'm a firm believer of like 6 degrees of separation. So I always feel like I kind of and I kind of use her as an example, and I don't mean to use you as an example, but it's just like it's like she's the type of person that cuts those degrees and makes it like from 6 to like 4 or 4 to like 3. Because I know you, and then you know her, but she knows Jay-Z.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm like 2 degrees away from Jay-Z, I guess, in a sense like that. Yeah. So like that's always kind of obviously shout out to Ravy B, BX in the building. One of the biggest photographers in the game at the moment, currently speaking. But yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So Raven and I were cool. and we were at an event together downtown, Nike Football Society, and I remember she used to live in the Bronx as well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, I'm about to head back uptown. You need a ride? I had a car at the time.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, of course. Hop in, and then I'm like, damn, like I know she's popping. She was already popping even back then.
Oh, okay, cool.
Even
cool,
back
I don't really
then, like
know her
what she is
trajectory,
now, she's always been popping.
She's been working for towards
but
that.
so I'm like, damn, I want to ask her to shoot, but I know she don't shoot for free.
Yeah,
you
she
know what I'm
gonna
saying?
curve your shit. Facts.
She gonna
It's
curve
cool.
my shit. So I'm
And
like,
you
yo,
respect it though, because at the end of the day, it's her time.
I told her, I was like, yo, Ray, I got this idea. It's pretty much already set in motion. You know,
Yeah.
The only thing is, I need a photographer. And she was like, I'll shoot it. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, I'll shoot it. I was like, I don't have a budget though. She's like, no, it's fine. Like, we'll figure it out later.
The
like,
arm. That's
just buy
crazy.
me some Seafood City or something. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy
Like,
to get that level of audio visual production for a shrimp basket is crazy.
Right, right. So Raven shot the first few. My boy Gerson shot the first few, and then as the tournament started building and generating buzz, with obviously it helped that I knew some pretty influential people. So, like this gentleman named Lo, he is one of the co-hosts on Apple Music.
That's crazy.
With
shout out to
Ebro.
Lo, yeah. Shout
with
out to
Ebro,
Lo, man.
Cam obviously, Lenny with his crew, Brunch Browns, like all these people I was cool with, so they will all pull up, and it's just like one big block party in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So that's how it eventually grew, and then we went outdoors. We went to Harlem, 110th, and then around that time, people started having parties in Miami, like New York-based groups were going to Miami to throw parties. So one of the groups was Brunch Bounce.
This is the Project X part of the pod.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah. So
redacted. It's gonna be a lot of redacted information in the next 30 minutes.
My boy Irv, the guy from Brunch Bounce, I had asked him. I was like, "Yo, I know you guys got something planned Saturday, but do you mind if I have a tournament Friday and then have a pool party right after?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to interfere
Impose,
with
yeah,
y'all.
of course
Impose, this is y'all trip."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Nah, bro, you crazy? That sounds like a great idea. Let's do it." So again,
hold on. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
I want to take a brief break, and then we'll get into Hoop Showdown Miami, and then we'll break
All right,
everything
all right,
else down.
bet,
All right?
bet.
Yo, we'll be right back. You already know, man. Segundo Idioma with my brother Johnny Swoosh. You already know, man. We here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Appreciate y'all checking in with us again. Remember, this is Segundo Idioma a través de Estamos Unidos, the first and only all Latin New York City based content channel, YouTube channel. Again, we want to thank y'all for your time. I got my brother Johnny Swoosh here, Rodriguez. Y'all already know what it is, man. And before the break, we kind of spoke on the event in Miami. Why don't you tell us a little bit of how that went down? Obviously, you told us how it came about, but like, you know, the logistics of it, of you trying to figure out venues and timings and different things like that.
I mean, it was pretty much like I mentioned earlier, starting from the ground up. I had to find a gym. I had to make sure that the gym was convenient for people to get to.
How hard to do that? Is it like in another state?
It's hard, man. It's definitely a lot of calls. At that time, there was video conferencing. I don't know. I don't think it was FaceTime. But
I think it was Skype.
Skype, yeah. It was a lot of that. And then I was able to broker a deal with the Congress Hotel. So I pretty much called them and I said, hey, listen, if you could guarantee me 15 rooms, what rate can you get it at?
Yeah.
And then they gave me a deal and they said, hey, you know what, like, if this amount of rooms are booked, we'll throw you your room for free. So of course I'm encouraging everyone. If you coming down for Hoop Showdown Brunch Browns weekend,
facts.
Book at the Congress. Yeah. And then they eventually reached out to me and they're like, hey, we just finished our pool. Would you be willing to host a party up there with the group that you're coming with?
Absolutely.
So I'm like,
in
it's
Miami?
a fucking no-brainer.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So like, the DJs were already gonna be down there. So I hit up the DJs and I'm like, yo, I don't know numbers, but we'll figure it out later.
If that's an alley-oop, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, and then we ended up getting cool with the owner of the manager of the pool, the hotel.
Yeah.
And again, Raven, she just finished doing something with Rick Ross. Must have been a photo shoot. Anyway.
Yeah.
He found out she was in Miami and he sent her a few cases of Bel Air.
Oh man, so you were like,
so
legit.
Raven gave me a box of Bel Air. I'm talking probably like 12 bottles.
Oh shit!
So I told the guy from the pool, the hotel, I'm like, yo, I kind of don't want to pay for booze if I got a whole box. He's like, matter of fact, I'm lying. He said, yo, keep 8, give me 4, and let me sell those 4. I said, shit.
That's it. Here you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact.
We were just chilling and that pool party, man.
I think it's pretty cool how shit happens when it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you went from one to the next to the next to the next to the next, and it all kind of just like laid itself out.
Yep.
You know, does it ever like hit you from time to time, or like how shit has like gone, like as far as that Miami trip? You know what I mean?
Just in general, man. I look back and I think about all the cool shit that I've done in life. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, wow, man, I lived a hell of a life, and not even just like a partying aspect, just like shit that like at one point, because I mean I'm older now, but at one point I was the youngest one out there with a popping tournament. You know what I'm saying? I was, these other guys that run leagues are way older than me. They're like kids. They got kids and all that,
That are your age.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And here I am, 20, 22, 24, whatever age I was, and I'm, running shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, but you're a point guard by nature, and it's just kind of like that relentless mentality that a point guard has that has kind of like, led you to your success at such a young age, with your tournament. Speaking of young age, and speaking of, youth, one of the points that you emphasize, or one of the points that's important for me and what we do on our show here as far as community building is, empowering youth. And one of the things that I know and we've spoken off camera, one of the things that's important to you is making sure that the youth has an easier pathway to be seen, to be recognized in these tournaments. Why don't you expand a little bit on, the high school section of Hoop Showdown and kind of what that's centered and what your general direction is with that program?
So eventually I stopped doing the adults Hoop Showdown and fully transitioned to high school.
Okay.
For reasons that we'll talk about another time.
Yeah, for sure.
Nothing bad.
We'll save that for episode 2.
Yeah, logistic-wise, it was just I went strictly to high school, and high school still is, but at that time, high school was buzzing. Like that division, everybody wanted to see the high school division over the adults, and...
Around what time was this, more or less? Give us a timeline.
We're in what, 2024? I want to say... 2013, 2014?
2013, okay.
Yeah, like around that time. So, I fully transitioned into high school, and I'm like, damn, this would be great because, I already, again, basketball community. So if I reach out to such and such, they could reach out to this person and that person. And the very first tournament that we did in Bronx River, it was literally people on the edges of the court. That's how crowded it was.
Wow. How is that atmosphere? I mean, I've never played basketball in front of like an intense crowd. How is that, like, as far as just managing emotions? Like, even, you know, you from the outside looking in, like just give us an idea of, like, people like literally on top of you.
That's exactly how it feels, and I can tell you from my playing days, that's exactly how it feels when I played against Kennedy High School when I was in Smith. They got I don't know about now, but they had a great crowd. Like, you're inbounding the ball and there's some dude yelling like, in your ear, yo, if you make another shot, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's
literally
real
in your ear.
shit.
You
That's
gotta, you know what I
real
mean?
shit.
You gotta keep.
Yeah, you gotta lock
You can't
in.
let that shit rattle you.
Yeah,
and that's
facts.
how Bronx River was, and not to the extent that they were telling kids they're gonna smack the shit out of them, but it was more like just shit talking.
Intensity,
and,
man.
And it was literally wall to wall. You know what I mean? Crunch situations. Crowd is yelling at kids like. You know what I mean? Playful banter, you know, nothing harmful or violent, but that's how it feels, bro. It's like we nicknamed it Cha-Ching, myself and my boy Glasses, who helps me with Hoop Showdown. We nicknamed Bronx River the jungle. Okay. Because when you go in there, it's just, you know, it's a bunch of animals ready.
That's
you know
a
what I mean?
fact, though.
And your name doesn't mean shit in that gym, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Hoop Showdown, high school Hoop Showdown took off. It really attracted it actually attracted Nike. So I had a meeting with
shout out to Nike. Facts.
And that's kind of how like I got in with them. It was through basketball. You know, a gentleman by the name of Kev Santana. He said, "Hey, listen, how can we help?" And you know, I told him, "Boom, boom, boom. This is what I want to do." And the rest is history, as you can see.
Yeah, facts, man.
But high school Hoop Showdown, man, it's a great platform because it's nothing bougie. Like Bronx River is Bronx River. It's the hood. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The gym is in the middle of the projects, and I had the gentleman who owns Overtime. He was a millionaire. My guy Zach Weiner.
Yeah, shout out Zach Weiner.
I had him in the projects, bro. He told me this is the first time I've ever been in the projects in my life. I've had Taylor Rooks at my events. You know what I'm saying? I've had other big names at my events, and like I said, this is not Madison Square Garden, Barclays. Yeah. This is in the hood. We talk about Bronx
This ain't
River.
even Rucker or Dykeman this isn't even like an established basketball court throughout the city who has like a long history. Like, you're building that history. Right. You're building that. So shout out to you, man.
I'll let y'all Google Zach. Go Google Zach Weiner. I had him in the projects, bro. Dude's drinking Hennessy to the left and to the right of him, and he's chilling.
Yeah, man.
But that's how big it got. Overtime got involved. Slam got involved. Nike, of course. I'm missing a few publications. Bleacher Report, CBS Sports. They all wanted to see these kids. I mean, it was a byproduct of Hoop Showdown, but the high school division was popping. They wanted to see these kids.
And how did that feel? You know, because obviously, you know, your nickname is Swoosh. Right. We anybody who knows Johnny obviously knows that he's a huge fan of the Nike brand and the products and their initiative. And you know, anybody who grew up in New York, you understand how much more the significance that Nike had in our lives growing up, from footwear to the sweatsuits to the shorts to like the shooting sleeves and everything in that like kind of realm of like fashion and culture and really embracing that. How, you know, as a native New Yorker and somebody who's a big fan of what Nike and the Swoosh has done and other publications have done, Slam Magazine obviously huge in the basketball community as far as and every level, grassroots, pro, collegiate, they're just like one of the biggest names in basketball media. How did it feel to see like the acknowledgement from these brands towards your basketball tournament?
I'm gonna be honest, it didn't hit me until after, because you're just so locked in on running the event. That's one thing I really get to enjoy my events, because I'm just making sure everything is smooth, making sure the coaches are good, making sure spectators are good, making sure, you know, the door situation is right. Because like I said, there was times where cops will come and say, "Yo, one more person steps in, we got to shut it down." That's how crowded it gets. So I'm never locked in into the game. There's only been a handful of times that I've been able to sit and watch the games and enjoy them. But it hit me after. You know, it hit me like when I got home or maybe the next day, and I'm like, holy shit.
Hey,
Saquon Singleton, one of the early high school Hoop Showdown kids, he dunked on this kid, and it made Bleacher Report. It made it to CBS Sports News. Wow. It made it, it didn't make it to Sports Center, but it made it to like a few others. Yeah. And I remember seeing, like, at first, again, it didn't hit me at first, and I'm just like, holy shit. This was on CBS. This was on Bleacher Report. You know what I'm saying? And
that's a fact.
It's crazy, man, because we grow up watching this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Bleacher Report came later on, but CBS Sports, come on.
CBS
you know
Sports
what I'm saying?
is big.
Slam,
man.
like you said, they will come out and watch and you know, record the kids and take pictures and stuff. Overtime, who is Overtime
really
is
big,
a juggernaut. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
They're one of the
sports media, youth sports media, especially. You know, you always see those overtime tags on like the highlight clips for these kids in these AAU tournaments. And I thought that was fire.
It was crazy. I would have never got in with overtime if it wasn't for my brother.
Wow.
My brother Chris was very, very close with this guy named Lawrence. He's no longer with overtime, but him and my brother played baseball together. And my brother used to tell me, like, yo, my boy works for this company. And I'm like, all right, cool. You know how everybody tells you they always got a boy. They got a cousin in the Pentagon.
Facts.
And then one day I took a meeting with overtime down in Soho, and the rest is history, man.
That's fire.
Yeah, man.
That's fire.
They blew up,
that's
man.
Fire.
Salute to them.
You mentioned your brother, and you know, obviously that's a sensitive topic. You know, obviously, you know, rest in peace to your brother. You know, may he, you know. And I know that this is, you know, a little bit sensitive for you, and I know it's difficult to speak on loss and different things like that. But obviously, you know, he helped you, and you know, he helped you transition into your next project, which is the softball showdown.
Right.
Why don't you expand a little bit on that, and why don't you tell us, you know, the role that your brother played in, you know, the creation of that?
So eventually, with the success of Hoop Showdown, I wanted to branch into other sports. And softball being the easiest one to do because everyone plays softball. And my brother happens to be one of the most you know, popular guys in the softball world.
I didn't know that your brother was your brother.
Right.
You know, until he insulted you, and then I was just like, and then, you know, then I figured out, okay, family genetics.
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't know that your brother was your brother because obviously, you know, I played with a few of my friends, my boys Drew and Mark, and our boys, obviously, you know, and we, you know, we played and been playing softball at least 5-10 years, and I never knew who your brother was, but everybody was always just like Chris, and I was just like, oh, all right. So when I went to the first one, I was just like, oh, that's Chris.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, but he's Johnny's brother. I was like, but I've known Johnny forever. So like, you know, it was cool to see kind of like that degree of separation, how we mentioned earlier, to kind of see from that to that. But yeah, please let us know what was like Chris's contribution and how we kind of like got to where we are now.
So yeah, again, it was the easiest sport to transition to because Chris was just the connect for the whole softball world, you know. So I didn't know how to go about it because now we're going from a privately owned venue like a basketball gym to public parks. My boy TJ that I met from Vapor, shout out to TJ, he had a connect in the parks department. So he said, yo, hit this person up, do whatever you got to do, but you can pretty much guarantee it's done.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. I get that out the way. I get the fields. I get the permits. Then I'm like, all right, now I got to get teams. So I'm like, yo, Chris, I had a few guys that played, like, you know, you guys play in leagues, so I was able to, like, get 2 or 3 teams, 4 teams, but then I needed help getting the rest. And I'm like, yo, Chris, all right, bro, it's your turn.
Facts.
And, you know, he made a few phone calls, and that's all it took from him.
Yeah, so some phone calls and his credibility and the respect that he's earned and garnered within like the New York City softball world, especially in the Bronx. And you know, softball, for some people who don't know, softball is a very, very competitive sport here in New York. There's a lot of leagues, there's a lot of players, there's a lot of teams. So for you to earn the respect that Johnny's brother had earned, you know, amongst his peers was not easy to attain. So yeah, man. What year are we on for? What year are we on respectively for each? Because I know you did Hoop Showdown last May. I believe you do it like the first week in May, if I'm not mistaken, every year.
Yes, I do.
What number are we at
for Hoop Showdown?
Yeah,
we're at 12.
12, and where are we at for Softball Showdown?
I want to say 6.
6 years.
I'm sorry, I have terrible.
And this is I think we started like, I was there at the first one. I fucking tanked immediately. Semifinal game. I had the worst inning of my career, but whatever. It's not a career because I didn't get paid for it, but whatever. But yeah, so we're at year 6. Like, how does it feel, man? How does it feel to like be able to kind of maintain, you know, not any sort of like crazy significance, but of consistency, but like 6 years, 10 years, 12 years, kind of like doing the same thing. Like what keeps you motivated, man?
The challenge to keep it fresh, because how can I make this appealing to the person that's been here 10 years? Every year they go, what can I do differently to keep things fresh? You know what I'm saying? Like, we love our favorite movies, but how rarely do we go back to them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact.
So it's like the challenge of not rebranding. That's not what I want to say, but it's more so like keeping things fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, I started with Hoop Showdown. You know, like I ended up doing championship belts for the MVP.
I saw that.
You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like look for ways to keep things exciting. With Softball Showdown, I started doing MVP cleats for the the male MVP and then the female MVP.
That's a fact.
And then you know, like it's little things that keep me going. Obviously, the main motivation is to keep it going for my brother's namesake.
Absolutely.
You know, this I created Softball Showdown, but eventually, you know, before his untimely passing, eventually I was gonna say, all right, Chris,
that's your thing.
This is you. Whatever you want to do with it, you do. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm gonna be here to say yes or no or what I think, but this is your division. I run basketball. You know what I mean? You run softball. You know, unfortunately, you know, he passed away, and we didn't get to that, but. You know, the challenge, what keeps me going is obviously keep doing it for him. And then for basketball is it makes me feel good when a player reaches out to me like, hey, you know.
Thank you.
You know.
That's fire, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I get messages even from the community. My boy Andre Hanna, who I actually played against and with in our youth days, he's from Bronx River.
Okay.
He messaged me one day, super long message, and I just got out the event, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to read anything right now.
Yeah.
But I read it the next day, and he was like, yo, Johnny, thank you, bro. Bronx River, whenever you have a hoop showdown event, the hood unites, which is very rare, you know what I'm saying? And it's shit like that, and I'm just like, damn, like, how can I stop?
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things where, like, bro, like we in the hood, we talk about all the time, like, yo, nobody come together, nobody do shit like how they used to, nobody come together like how they used to, nobody does shit, and it's just like we literally have, you know, we have other people who are obviously organizing events and things like that, but it's cool to see like somebody who's from where we're from, because, you know, representation matters in everything. You know, seeing somebody of your likeness, seeing somebody who's been through the same things you've been through, who's taken the same trains you've taken, who's been to the same parties or been to the same high schools or even dealt with the same girls or the same people or the same circle of friends is, you know, we all talk about, you know, the aspirations that we have, and we all talk about like how shit, you know, kind of just like the things that we want to do, you know, to see you manifest. And I'm not structuring a question. This is just me kind of giving you your flowers. You know what I mean? Like to see you kind of like bring that together and kind of see it be like a full circle thing, man. I just want to say, obviously, you know, I'm really proud of you, man. This is not easy to do, and this is not easy to organize, and to kind of be mindful of the situation of where you are and where you want to be, and kind of just take things and take it to the next level and improve and you know, challenge yourself to be great. You know, that's something that I respect and that I admire from my peers and from my friends, because I'm the type of person that I like to look at my friends as motivation. I don't hate my mans, but if he's killing, I'm like, if he's killing, I got to get on.
Yeah.
I can't be out here looking crazy, because then they're going to be like, yo, that's Marino's mans or whatever the case is, and then they're going to be like, nah, Marino's mans, he chilling with bums. You feel me? But if I'm chilling with somebody like you, or if I'm chilling with my friends and my friends is doing things for themselves, then how can you not be motivated?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I think that's so fire, man. Like, I wanted to touch the last subject before we close out. You're a father now, bro.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Fucking crazy.
The coolest shit I've ever experienced, man.
And like, you know, obviously shout out to the main man, you know, shout out to your son and shout out to your lady, and you know, you guys are doing it, and I just think it's cool to kind of see that chapter. You know, you're a dad now, and you know, obviously there are similarities in life, you know, from running a basketball tournament to running a house, or being, you know, a father figure and being the example in somebody's life. You know, I guess the last question I want to ask you is, how is it that you've been able to kind of take all of the experiences that you've learned through basketball and organizing events, and how do you, so it's going to be a two-part question. How did you find a way to like kind of translate that into fatherhood? And B, what are some of the things that you hope for your son to aspire to from the example that you're leaving by organizing events and different things like that?
So I tell people that have kids that are playing sports all the time, even before I had my own, you got to let kids do what they want to do. And that's one thing I've learned from dealing with youth basketball is you can't force a kid to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I've learned and I've translated into fatherhood. I mean, obviously the structure is needed, but, you know, there's times where I don't want my son to climb the couch, but I know he's a kid. You know, I know that's what kids do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to throw my shoe, but I know that's what kids do. You know what I'm saying? You kind of got to just let them flow freely, you know, and let them do their own thing. And, you know, a lot of people say, oh, I know you can't wait for your son to play ball or play football because, like I mentioned earlier, I was a two-sport athlete. I played football and basketball. And I'm just like, whatever he wants to do, bro.
That's a fact.
Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to be an astrologist, then cool. If he wants to come up with a new flu vaccine, then that's, you know, great too. If he wants to pick up a ball, then cool. But whatever my son wants to do, I'm going to support him 100%. I'm not going to be that sports dad that, you know, like, I mean, don't get me wrong.
You're not going to be a LeVar Ball type?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. If my son hits a certain age and he's like, hey, Dad, like, I want to play ball. And he's like, no, but I want to play, like, real. I was like, all right, then. All right, cool. Now we talking. Now, you know what I mean? I may not want to train you myself because that conflict of interest. But I'm definitely going to put you in a position where you could at least get proper training. You could at least be properly coached. You know what I mean? I'm going to put you in positions where you're either going to grow to love the game or might say, hey, you know what? I tried it. It ain't for me. But I'm never going to be that dad that's going to force sports down my son's, you know, in my son's chest. You know what I mean? Whatever he wants to do, got my full support.
That's cool.
But yeah, man, I kind of want him to play though.
Yeah, I mean that's a fact, bro.
But again, you know, like I said, like I got friends. One of my homies that played in the league for a while. He's pretty well known.
Yeah.
I had asked him, like, 'cause his son, his name is Cruz. His son picked up a ball recently. I'm like, yo, I know you hype. He was like, to be honest, bro, like, I don't care. Like, I saw what it was. You know what I'm saying? That life, if he wants to live it, cool. But I'm not going to force him. Like, if he wants to, whatever he wants to do, you know what I'm saying? I got him.
That's fire, bro.
And I kind of just like, all right, well, you know. And then my experience being around kids, you know, some of these kids don't want to play basketball. But their dad played at, you know, Benjamin Banneker or, you know, Christ the King, and now I got to live through my son. You know what I'm saying? And
live through your dad's, like, fucking varsity jacket.
Yeah, that shit be fucking kids up, bro. Like, sorry for cursing, but
yeah, nah, it's true.
I remember when I used to coach kids, this kid was miserable, bro. He wanted to play baseball, and his dad.
I've always, you know, please expand on that because we speak on you know, kids. We speak about the kids who make it, but we never speak about the kids who kind of suffered that emotional damage that they never making it and kind of feeling like their parents forced them or like imposed on them.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not gonna name names, but I had a kid on my 12U team that was really good in baseball, like really, really good. I mean, from what I saw on footage, and his dad used to play at like CTK or something, and he wasn't with it. Like he would have him in baseball, but it was like, no, we're going to the park, we're gonna shoot 200 jump shots, we're gonna do this, and he would like, and I could tell because you could tell when you roll out the basketball in the gym. You could tell when a kid is hyped, excited. Yeah. This kid was just like, as if it was a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, as if he was clocking in.
Oh, my God.
And I felt bad, you know? And that happens often, you know? That happens a lot. Kids are just forced to play. I mean, not even just basketball, across all sports. You know, these kids are forced to live their parents' dreams. You know what I'm saying? And this kid may not want to play ball. He might want to be a fucking artist or
fucking doctor or whatever the fuck he wants to
be.
Facts.
But because you didn't make it because you blew your knee, now you want to live through your son
vicariously. Facts.
And I'm not.
I mean,
it's not. If your son is genuinely interested in sports, then great. use your experience and your knowledge, your resume to put your son in position or daughter in position. But to be forcing them, kid is only gonna, one, grow up to resent you.
Yeah, facts.
Two, fucking hate the sport. You know what I'm saying? And he may miss out on the childhood. You know what I mean? He might meet his childhood friends in baseball, and now you got him in basketball.
With people that he doesn't want to be around.
Right.
That sucks, man. I guess the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, is let your kids do whatever the fuck they want. You know, sometimes it turns out, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes you get Johnnies. Nah, but yeah, man. Just to close out the show, man, I do want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank you for sharing your story,
thank
bro.
You, man.
As soon as they let me, you know, as soon as I got the okay from my guy to do English podcasts or to do English speaking podcasts, you obviously one of the first people that I hit up. So I do want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank you for sharing your story. I want to thank you for sharing the importance of hoops and softball showdown. And obviously, I want to thank you. I want to thank the listeners. I want to thank our producers. I want to thank my sound guy, Alex, who's the fucking man. He probably didn't understand half of the shit that we said, but I love him to death. This is my guy. But yeah, man, and I just want to thank all the listeners, and I want to thank you guys for always giving me your time, you know. Time is the most expensive currency that we have. So the fact that you guys share it with us and the fact that you guys give us that shit off the arm, there's really nothing else that I can ask y'all for, man. So I'm grateful for y'all. I'm grateful for the show. And Johnny, let them know what we got going on, man.
All right, man. So we got the CR5 softball showdown upcoming. It's this Saturday in Randall's Island Park.
Time?
We'll be there from 12 to 6. Fields 13 and 14.
Perfect. Randall's Island. Sábado, mi gente, este sábado vamos a estar instalados en el Randall's Island Park de 12 a 6 en el terreno 13 y 4. Estamos celebrando el 6º anual torneo de softball para celebrar la memoria del hermano de Johnny, Christopher, como hacemos todos los años a finales de agosto, de 12 a 6. Por favor, síganlo en Hoop Showdown para más información. Yo, su humilde servidor, voy a hacer un social media takeover de Softball Showdown, and I'll let you keep expanding on that, but I just wanted to say it in Spanish because, we got the Spanish.
So it's going to co-ed softball tournament, 8 teams. It's going to be a great time, man. I also have a back-to-school camp coming up September 14th in Bronx River Community Center, which is absolutely free. So just sign up your kid on the website, hoopshowdown.com. Again, it's free. It is tailored to the middle school only. So 5th grade to 8th grade.
Okay.
Both boys and girls.
And this is like a kind of like an introductory into basketball type of camp, or it's a little bit more advanced? Or
it's a mix. It's a mix. So we'll separate the groups on skill level. So if it's a kid literally just wanting to learn how to dribble, we got trainers for that. We got trainers if you want to get your handle like Kyrie. We got guys for that too. Okay. And we'll be providing camp shirts, food, and school supplies to all the kids. And it's absolutely free. So just sign up on the website, hoopshowdown.com. September 14th.
Perfect. Para mis oyentes en español, estamos teniendo un campamento de emprendimiento para los niños que empiecen a jugar baloncesto del 5º grado al 8º grado, o sea, de edades como de 8 a 14. Va a haber para todo tipo de aprendimiento, para todo tipo de experiencia, así sea que nunca ha picado una bola y le interese el deporte, o un muchacho que sea un poquito más avanzado, que quiera refinir el estilo de juego o cosas diferentes. So, en eso que estamos. Va a ser el 14 de septiembre, sábado 14 de septiembre. Para más información, vayan a hoopshowdown.com y le vamos a poner la página de Hoop Showdown también para que ustedes lo agreguen. Johnny. Thank you, brother.
That's a wrap.
Appreciate
you, bro.
Thank you, man. I'm gonna run it back for sure, man. But I'm thankful for you, brother. Yeah, you already know, man. Mi gente, cuídense. Ya ustedes saben, estamos aquí. Ya Ale me está votando. Ya ustedes saben, hablamos el martes. No sabemos cuál martes. Segundo idioma. Ya.